certain religious and spiritual belief systems, such as Jainism, Buddhism, Hinduism, and the neo-pagan movements, such as Wicca, Jainism, and some forms of Buddhism, do not advocate belief in gods, whereas Hinduism holds atheists to be valid but difficult to follow spiritually. And as I get down further, you're gonna see why. Then you're gonna see where my religion is pretty cool. Okay? Since the conception, since the conceptions and ideology of atheism vary, it is hard to find. It's hard to determine how many atheists exist in the world today. About 2.3% in the world are atheists. 11.9% are non-religious. In the United States, only 4% are atheists. So, that brings me to my point. You're telling me the body of Christ, who has 156 million believers in the United States as of 2001 that I could find, you're telling me that only 4%, a small slice of the pie, is allowing the government to come down on the pastors and allowing them to be convicted of hate crime? Why? Because they preach that it is not God's will for somebody to be gay, God's will for a female to be a lesbian. It, you mean to tell me that the modern day body of Christ is that weak? Get over yourselves, wake up. You're going to lose everything you have. You're going to lose. You have forgotten your heritage. You have forgotten what this country was founded on. And not only are you going to lose the right to practice religion or your beliefs or whatever, but you're going to lose your rights, freedom of speech, and everything else that goes along with it. You're going to lose it all because of a small percentage, about 4%. You know what? That's sad. A whole entire body of Christ that goes to church on Sundays and lives like the devil on Monday through Saturday needs to wake up and wake up fast. You start praying. September 11th, 2001, there was more people, or September 12th, 2001, the day after 9/11, there was more people filling in churches. More churches were open during the week, but 11 years later, 10 years later, it's back to the same old thing. You missed what was supposed to happen. Everybody says, God let it happen, God let it happen. Well, I'm going to give you this scenario. If he did it for a reason, to shake us, get us to wake up, smell the coffee. But 11 years, 10 years later, we have seemed to have forgotten that day, except for the annual 9/11 ceremonies. Then we all want to act like it's a show, and oh, we care, we want things to be right, yada yada yada. It's just a show. And guess what? That's what the Pharisees did in biblical times. Everything they did was just a show. I'm better than you, I can do more than you, whatever. The thing was just a show. Okay? Now, atheists tend to be skeptical, citing the lack of miracle evidence, or empirical evidence, including the problems with evil, the argument of inconsistent revelations, the argument of non-belief. Other arguments range from philosophical, social, to historical. They have adopted secular philosophies. There is no one ideology or set behaviors to which all atheists adhere to. So, let me get this straight. It's cool to be an atheist because there is no rules. You can basically do whatever you want, when you want, how you want it. I would hope that the general population would be a little bit better than that. Let's look at the Ten Commandments, which were embedded into us, into our soul, prior to birth. And the only reason why we had to learn the difference between right and wrong was because we were babies. But once we learned it, we knew it. So, you mean to tell me that Ten Commandments are, thou shalt not have any other God before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image. Thou shalt not take thy name of the Lord thy God in vain. Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. Honor thy father and thy mother. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's housewife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. Now, it's not saying that you look at somebody's bike or somebody's car and you're like, man, I'd like to have a car like that. I'd like to have a bike like that. That's not what they're talking about. They're talking about want it so bad you'll steal it. Want it so bad you'll do anything for it. So, atheism. Basically, from what I gather, you could say that atheism is the religion without rules. That don't force their people to be accountable for their actions.